Hello, welcome to the Kidney Kitchen. Today we're doing a real 80s throwback. We're doing chocolate profiteroles. Made with choux pastry. Same as you make chocolate eclairs, we're doing profiteroles today. Bit of work on the arm, takes a bit of beating to get it right, but it's well worth the effort. Who doesn't like chocolate profiteroles? And we're going to pipe some vanilla Chantilly cream in the middle of them. So let's get going. Flour, bit of plain flour. Just going to sieve my flour. Helps get a bit of air into the profiteroles. Let's get those lumps out. Great. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my water, 150 ml of water, and my butter slowly to the boil. And you want to melt your butter in your water, and bring them to a boil. There you go. So I've got my stove on medium-sized sort of heat. I'm just melting the butter in the water and bring it to the boil. And then to that I'll add my flour and then my eggs. It's only taking a couple of minutes, but very important that it does boil. Once it has boiled, this is when we add our flour, and we have to keep stirring it so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. So keep it moving. And just in a little steady stream, I'm adding my flour. This is where it takes a bit of elbow grease. Must keep that moving around. You want it to come away from the sides of the pan and the bottom of the pan. You want it to be nice and glossy in colour. See how it's starting to come away from the bottom of the pan easily on the sides. Just let the flour cook out for a little bit. That's what you're looking for. Nice and glossy in colour as well, if you can see that in the camera. There you go. So it's had a couple of minutes on the stove. Now I'm just going to bring it back over here just to cool down slightly before I add my eggs. If you add your eggs into the hot pan, you're just going to scramble on the bottom. And you don't want that at all. So you can see that moving around. It's totally free from the side of the pan now and the bottom of the pan. Nice and glossy. Just drops off your spoon. Now I'm going to start slowly adding my eggs to the mixture. This is where it looks a bit sloppy at the moment, but it will all come together. This is where I usually swap over to my faithful spatula as well. Sometimes a bit easier to incorporate it. Wooden spoon or spatula, whatever you find easier. Good mix around, and you can see it all incorporated there. Again, just dropping off your spoon. Really give it a good beat. It's a good workout, this dish. Now we're going to put it into a piping bag. Now we've got a choice of piping bags. I own that one myself. That was about £3, £3.50 to buy. But I picked those up the other day as well, 50p each. Disposable piping bags, best 50p you could ever spend. Honestly, really great things. You can actually use them, wash them and use them again if you want to. If you haven't got a piping bag, you can always use one of your freezer bags. You cut a little bit off the end, then plonk your nozzle in. Something like that's fine. But I want to go with my piping bag today, but you've got lots of different options. A small little nozzle just at the end, poke it through. Then to fill my piping bag with my pastry. Scrape all that choux pastry off there. Scrape it off your spatula. There we go. There's my piping bag all ready to pipe them onto my tray. I've got a baking tray here. I'm quite fortunate to own one of these silicone mats that I've always had that's just the same as greaseproof paper. If you haven't got one of those, just a bit of greaseproof paper is absolutely fine, just to stop them sticking to your tray. And what I'll do now is get a little bit of water, a bit of cold water, and just dip my finger in it, just to push those little bits down. You see where they've come up when I've been piping? If you just push those down just a little bit, it just stops them from burning in the oven. There you go, the profiteroles. I'm just going to put them into my preheated oven that I've put at 200 degrees for about 15, 18, 20 minutes maximum. Okay, that's 18 minutes now passed on this. That's what you're looking for. See, they're nicely puffed up. You can hear as well. You tap this bottom slightly, you can hear they're nice and hollow. They're cooked for sure. I'm just going to put them on a cooling rack just to cool them down for 5 or 10 minutes. You don't want to pipe your cream into them while they're still hot. For obvious reasons, your cream will just go everywhere. Lovely, so let them cool down. So while these are cooling, we can now make our vanilla cream, and we can melt our chocolate as well to go over the top. So I've got some double cream. Into that I'm going to put a tablespoon of caster sugar, and then a little drop of vanilla essence. That's a lovely little flavour there. So there's my vanilla essence. If you're feeling extravagant, you can have a bit of vanilla pod if you can afford those. They're quite expensive, so vanilla essence is always better. But then again, we kept some vanilla sugar. Last time we did a recipe using cream and vanilla, I saved the vanilla pod and put it into some caster sugar there, and you can see all the little specks of the vanilla gone into the sugar. There we go, that's your vanilla essence, your sugar and your cream. I'm going to whip that till it's nice and stiff. Then we can put that into our piping bag. I told you it was a bit of a workout, this dish. First of all the choux pastry and now the cream. There you go, it took about 5 minutes of whisking. Almost at what they call stiff peaks. Okay, I've washed my piping bag again. I'm using a slightly smaller nozzle this time. That was the one we used for the choux pastry. This is a slightly smaller one for the cream. Now we're going to fill these little things with the cream. You'll see a little hole in the profiterole. Give them a good amount of cream in there, fill them right up. So you can poke a little hole in with your nozzle into the profiterole. So be nice and generous with the cream, fill them up. So I've got a little pot of water on here, just warming up, and into there I've got just some dark chocolate, just supermarket bought chocolate. I'm going to put the glass bowl into the water. There you go, it's only a little bit of water. It's called a bain-marie, but you don't want the bottom of that glass bowl to touch the actual water, just to hover above it. There you go, just melting that with my spoon. It's just going to take a couple of minutes, that's all. It's pretty hot in the kitchen today, so it's already started melting a bit, so it's not taking too long. But don't boil your water, it is just literally just warming it up, just enough to melt it. There we go, some of that lovely melted chocolate sauce. We've got Laura here today, the dietitian in the house with us. I know she's a big chocolate fan, so she'll be all over these.
Yeah.
How are you?
Some people believe that dietitians don't eat chocolate, but we definitely do.
Rubbish.
These look amazing,
Have
yeah.
one. Get straight into one.
I know.
You're going to make a right mess.
That's what I'm thinking, it's going to be mess everywhere. Won't be able to talk anymore. Yeah, these are nice. A nice size. They've risen really nicely.
They have actually, yeah. Say three a portion I'll put down.
But you don't need a lot of chocolate either to coat those, do you?
That wasn't much at all, was it?
No. It goes a long way.
Amount.
And then other than that, so they're so light. They've got the cream, so obviously they're not an everyday thing to be having, but for a special occasion, like you said, they look lovely on the table. Really nice.
I haven't made choux pastry for such a long time, but they've actually come out. You forget how good that pastry is, really. And they are so light, aren't they? Like you say, yeah.
It looked hard work, but we were saying hopefully people would have an electric whisk
The
they
arms
could
like this,
use.
yeah. But
To help them out.
They're well worth putting the effort in, I think. I think they're a great thing.
No, they taste amazing, and I think it's a great sort of special occasion thing to have. And there's nothing really concerning in terms of the potassium and phosphate
There's not, no.
in it as well.
No.
And I guess you could do other fillings. You could experiment a bit with sort of maybe some fruit type fillings or yogurt.
Absolutely, yeah. Yogurt would be a good idea, yeah. Creme fraiche or something, low fat creme fraiche in them or something like that would be quite nice. But 3 a portion is okay, as it say, there's 18 there, so it looks really impressive, doesn't it? But
No, that's perfect.
I don't expect one person to have that lot, so the go
No.
around 3 a portion's quite cool.
Yeah, just try keeping people to 3.
Exactly,
Yeah.
including you. Nice one, I'm glad you liked them.
No, thank you very much. I'm going to finish mine.
Didn't need encouraging, did you, to try them?
That's good.